Netflix's Avatar The Last Airbender just completed its first weekend of it being officially released. This series is one that had high expectations and one that many were anticipating its premiere. Like any other series, Avatar The Last Airbender had many mixed reviews, with some newcomers saying that it was a great series, other fans saying that it was okay, and with reviewers giving it a bad rep, even going to lengths of comparing it to M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender and saying that this new series didn't stoop to its level. For those of you who didn't enjoy it, what if we told you that the reason you didn't enjoy this series is because you watched it wrong? Why, you ask? In today's video, we will be taking a look at this and showing why you probably didn't enjoy this series, and if you haven't even given the series a chance and are just basing your opinion on other people's reviews, we hope that after our explanation, you maybe consider giving it a chance, and that way you can at least say you tried it but still didn't enjoy it, or that you gave it a try and it surprised you. But before we begin, if you enjoy everything related to Avatar The Last Airbender and want to see more content like this, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel since we will be discussing everything related to this series. Welcome to the Avatar state. Let's start things off explaining a few things. As you know, this new live-action Netflix series is based on an Emmy Award-winning American animated television series that aired for 3 seasons on Nickelodeon and the Nicktoons network. Of course, we're talking about the hit animated series Avatar The Last Airbender, also called The Legend of Aang in some countries. We also know that this animated series is set in an Asian-influenced world of martial arts and elemental manipulation. The show drew on elements from East Asian, South Asian, and Western culture, making it a mixture of what were previously traditionally separate categories of Japanese anime and Western domestic cartoons. And if there's any doubts about the show's success, keep in mind that all 3 seasons have a 100% tomato meter score in Rotten Tomatoes. Not only that, but it also has a sequel called The Legend of Korra that went on to have 4 seasons. It has comics that go deeper in the Avatar verse and a live-action adaptation movie that was based on the first season of this animated series, which we don't talk about and like to keep under the rug where it belongs, and even has future projects on its way. So, with this said, we know that Netflix had a lot of pressure to not mess things up with this new series, and believe it or not, we believe that they actually did a decent job, but we will get to this later. As hardcore fans ourselves, we kind of ignored something that we're sure most of you as hardcore fans ignored as well. Before the series was released, we knew that the creators of Avatar, Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino, were fully involved for over 2 years with this project. Eventually, they did announce they stepped down from the project. DiMartino mentioned he couldn't control the creative direction of the series. And while he acknowledged Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar has the potential to be good, it ultimately wouldn't be the show he or Konietzko set out to make. Not only that, but we knew that the series was going to have changes, while still trying to remain faithful to the source material. So, these were clear warning signs that things would be adapted differently than what we're used to from the masterpiece that the animated series gave us. But still, we went in with a wrong mindset and immediately started to do a lot of comparisons to the original animated series. It was inevitable, since the Netflix series is based on the animated series, of course we were going to compare it. In doing this, we kind of screwed ourselves over and maybe didn't appreciate the series like it was supposed to. This Netflix series isn't a shot-for-shot remake or reimagining, and that's something that you have to keep in mind when you watch this new version. That doesn't mean that they could have done some things to make it better. We agree that although it wasn't terrible, it wasn't fantastic either. There were some changes made that surprisingly weren't bad at all or didn't bother us that much. Just to mention a few of these changes that we weren't fond of, we have the scene where Aang breaks free from the iceberg. In the animated series, we see that Sokka made an inappropriate comment, which leads to Katara having an emotional breakdown and waterbending uncontrollably. This is the main reason why Aang is freed from the iceberg, but in this live-action adaptation, he is just freed because fate wanted it that way. If they made Katara free, Aang just like in the animated series, it would have made a lot more sense to his awakening from the 100-year slumber he was in. Another thing is that in the animated series we see Aang water bending ever since he fell from Zuko's ship into the water, gets his avatar state activated, and creates a water tornado which he used to get back on the ship and waterbend the Fire Nation soldiers off the ship, revealing officially to the exiled prince that he is indeed the avatar that he has been searching for in the past 3 years. Afterwards, we see him training with Katara, and he even goes behind Master Pakku's back to teach what he learned. And this creates a major conflict that ends up in Katara and Pakku's amazing battle that left many waterbenders in awe. In the Netflix series, though, we never get to see Aang waterbending, unless you count when Avatar Kyoshi took over Aang's body and used all 4 elements. But we personally don't count this. If we keep looking into things, we might never end. The point we wanted to get across was that in order for you to truly enjoy this series, you have to keep in mind that this series has a couple of changes, and it was pretty well structured for newcomers since it explains everything pretty well in order to make new fans understand the story with no issue, while still keeping the essence of the original series with details, dialogues, and more. And you must think of the series kind of like its own thing. So, it is important to have an open mind when it comes to this series and understand that it isn't 100% accurate to what we saw growing up. Personally, we really loved the visuals of this series. They weren't perfect, but they were enjoyable. The CGI is pretty good as well. The only thing that needed a bit of work was its storyline and how they executed some things, but even that wasn't terrible. It was enjoyable as well. Again, this is just our opinion. You may disagree with us, or you may have our same opinion. Overall, we give this series a 7, and we do really hope that if you understood the point we were making and feel that you need to give this series a second shot, please do. We're pretty confident that if you have an open mind, you may enjoy it more than you think. Tell us, what's your opinion on this? Did we miss anything? Thanks for watching the video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.